Hello students, today we will study about mixtures. First of all, let me define what is meant by mixtures. Mixtures are those substances which are made by combination of two or more elements or maybe elements and compounds in any ratio. Then the respective new substance formed will be called as mixtures. Let us discuss about the properties of mixtures. The first property that mixture shows the properties of its constituents. Let us take an example. Air. Air is also known as mixture. So, with respect to air, if I explain this first point, shows the properties of its constituents. Let me explain how. Air, it is composed of dinitrogen gas, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and 1% other gases. Many constituents are present in air. But being a part of one compound, one substance, that is air, then also each component they plays their own role. How? Let us see. Dinitrogen is a gas which is very important mineral for plants. Plants cannot directly utilize nitrogen. It is further converted into nitrates and nitrites and utilized by plants with the help of their roots. Let us see about oxygen. It is supporter of combustion. Anything in our surrounding, it will catch fire only in presence of oxygen. If oxygen is not there, burning of any substance or combustion is not possible. So the second component, that is also doing its own duty. Now carbon dioxide, it is utilized by plants for photosynthesis. So there are many more factors. You can see all the components of air, they all are present together. They are responsible for formation of air, but then also they all are able to perform their own properties. The second one is energy is neither utilized nor released during the formation of a mixture. Whenever a mixture is formed, it doesn't matter that what type of energy is required there or energy is released, because it do not occurs there. No energy is required for the formation of mixture and no energy is released also during the formation of mixture. The next property, that components can be separated or constituents can be separated by any physical separation method. As we are discussing about air, we can separate oxygen, argon, nitrogen. These are very much useful gases from mixture, that is air, by the method of fractional distillation of air. So it is applicable there. Since all the components, they shows their properties, so we can say that the mixtures do not have fixed melting point and boiling point. सारे कंपोनेंट्स जब अपनी अपनी प्रॉपर्टीज को शो कर रहे हैं, तो फिर वो एक एग्जैक्ट मेल्टिंग पॉइंट एंड बॉइलिंग पॉइंट भी शो नहीं कर सकते. हम नहीं कह सकते कि एयर का कोई एक फिक्स मेल्टिंग पॉइंट या बॉइलिंग पॉइंट. सो दिस वाज अबाउट द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ मिक्सचर्स. Now let us discuss about type of mixtures. Basically, mixtures are divided into two types, that is homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. The word homo, that means similar, and hetero means different. So the mixtures where the constituent particles are mixed with each other in such a way that we cannot identify that which particle is solute and which particle is solvent. That will be your solution. Suspension where the solid particles and solvent particles mix together, but solid particles, since they are bigger in size, heavier in size, so after some time they used to settle down. So let us discuss differences between solution, suspension and colloid. On the basis of certain points, we are going to discuss the differences between them. Type of mixture, as I said, solution, here we can say that solutions are homogeneous in nature. If I take an example of sugar plus water, if you take 1 glass of water, in that you add 2 spoons of sugar, what you will see, after stirring within few minutes, you will see complete sugar will get dissolved and sugar is not present there. Where it is gone? It is actually occupying, the sugar is occupying the empty spaces present between the water particles. So that's why it is not visible there. So we can say that that particular type of mixture is homogeneous. For heterogeneous, for suspension, I can use the example of chalk powder and water. You take a small piece of chalk, grind it properly, make it a fine powder and make it get dissolved in water. For starting, for a few minutes you will observe that the white milky solution is ready. It appears like milk. But as soon as you keep that glass undisturbed on table, on some platform, what you will see that after some time the chalk particles will settle down. Clear transparent water is present on the surface and the chalk particles are settled down. That means it is unstable. So it is heterogeneous. Colloids, ये ना solution की तरह है ना suspension की तरह है, दिखता homogeneous की तरह, होता heterogeneous. Size of particles. The solution, the particles, their size is less than 1 nanometer. यही कारण है कि हम सॉल्यूशन की जो पार्टिकल्स हैं उनको देख नहीं सकते, can't be seen. आंखों से तो छोड़ो, माइक्रोस्कोप से भी नहीं देख सकते. इवन इस छोटे साइज के कारण हम जो पार्टिकल्स हैं सॉल्यूशन के, उनको आप फिल्टर नहीं कर सकते विद द हेल्प ऑफ फिल्टर पेपर. Once the solution is made, it will remain as it is forever. चीनी और पानी आपने डिसॉल्व करके अगर तैयार कर लिया है तो ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा कि आपने ग्लास रख दिया और चीनी बैठ जाए दोबारा आपकी. Crystals you will obtain from that as it is. No. So it is stable also. And the last point, Tyndall effect. Actually, tendency of particles to scatter light. जैसे ये चौक है, अगर मैं इस चौक को यहाँ फेंकती मारती हूँ, what you will see, it's a black board, it's a green board, so chalk will go, hit the surface and fall down. But if I take that same chalk in an open ground, what will happen? It will go to a long distance because there is no barrier in between. So that is the difference. So when in the path of light, some particles they are present, and the light used to scatter that particle, hit that particle and scatter in different directions. That is known as Tyndall effect. So solution, since the particle size is less than 1 nanometer, so it do not show Tyndall effect. Suspension, here they appears to be heterogeneous. The particle size is larger than 100 nanometer. Since the particle size is larger, so they cannot be filtered, and they can be filtered from the with the help of filter paper, but they are unstable. As I said, chalk powder plus water, once they are mixed together, that solution is kept for some time, you will see that the chalk particles will settle down. Then, since the particle size is larger than the particle size of solution, so they used to show the Tyndall effect. Particle size is bigger, light, it hits the particle and scatter in different direction. That is Tyndall effect. इक्वलाइज, दिखते होमोजेनस है, होते हेटेरोजेनस है. And the particle size is in between 1 nanometer and 100 nanometer. But then also they cannot be seen with the help of microscope also, because to be seen under the microscope the particle size must be greater than 100 nanometer. Since the particle size is bigger, they cannot be filtered. Now the question comes, why they cannot be filtered? Of course, all particles are not greater than 100 nanometer. All particles are not greater than 100 nanometer. So it cannot be filtered. These are quite stable. And they also shows Tyndall effect. Now let us discuss about the next topic, that is concentration of a solution. First of all, let us see the definition, that it is the amount of solute present in a given quantity of a solution. आपको जो क्वांटिटी ऑफ सॉल्यूशन दिया है, उस सॉल्यूशन में कितना सॉल्यूट प्रेजेंट है, दैट इज नोन एज कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ सॉल्यूशन. ओके, सपोज लेट एग्जांपल 100 ग्राम ऑफ सॉल्यूशन. In this 100 gram, what is the quantity of given solute? And this given quantity of solute, suppose if it is X, that will be your concentration. Let us take an example, and with the help of an example we will discuss this. Suppose we have, let mass of solute, you have 10 gram. We'll take that 100 gram solution is there. In this 10 gram solute, ninety gram solvent. These are the conditions given. 100 ग्राम सॉल्यूशन है जिसमें से 10 ग्राम सॉल्यूट है और 90 ग्राम सॉल्वेंट है. So here I have written mass of solute, that is 10 gram, mass of solvent, that is 90 gram, and mass of solution you have to calculate. I have already written these things, but in a standard way I am explaining how a numerical comes. Mass of solution. How to calculate mass of solution? Mass of solute plus mass of solvent. So it will be 10 gram plus 90 gram, that is overall 100 gram. It is there. Now we have to calculate concentration of solution. For this, if the given formula is mass of solute upon mass of solution into 100. Actually concentration is shown in percentage. So the formula will be mass of solute upon mass of solution into 100. In question it is given mass of solute is 10 gram. Mass of solution you have calculated, it is 100 gram into 100. So it's divided and the answer will be 10%. It is 10%. So this way we can calculate. Remember here it was in grams. So we had it in mass. If solute is in liquid state or the solvent is in liquid state, in that condition the units will change. Instead of gram, then we can also mention liter or milliliter. So there, instead of writing mass of solute in solvent, there you have to mention volume of solute, volume of solution, and the volume or the concentration of solution. That way we can calculate it. Let us discuss one more example here. The question is, if 25 ml of acetone is present in 150 ml of its aqueous solution, calculate its concentration. Read question very carefully. If 25 ml of acetone is present in 150 ml of its aqueous solution, means solution is already prepared, and it is very clearly explained here that this quantity is present in this much. Means you don't have to calculate the mass of solution. What is given to you? Given mass of solute 25 ml, mass of solvent 150 ml, and mass of solution is 150 ml. It is given in question. You have to find out concentration of solution. So apply the formula. Mass of solute upon mass of solution into 100. That's your 25 upon 150 into 100. So 52s are 53s are, and when you divide this, you will get 16.16%. So that will, you will find out the concentration of the solution.